Hi everyone and welcome. Today I have felt so inspired to talk about a topic that is very, very dear to my heart. It is about the game of life, about understanding the rules and dynamics of what it is to master, to be a human being on planet Earth. And I was woken up very early today by a mosquito in my bedroom, and also by a message from a dear friend who just expressed frustration and exhaustion about all the things that are in our lives as humans and how to deal with everything. And so this is my topic for today, because this is like in all of my work as an Ascension guide, this is the most important thing that I aim to share with my clients. And it's about, well, it's based on my own human experience, because I was really, really bad at the game of life. I didn't understand much of it, and I was very naive. And it took me a long time before I understood the dynamics and how things work. So sort of the rules of the human earthly game. So when I say a game, it's not that I disrespect our lives. Obviously, this is our lives and our reality. So it's just about making it a little bit more fun and humorous, because we need that when it gets rough. And so I want to start with explaining a little bit of what I mean with the game of life, because it's so we're being born into a life in a human body, and we don't have a map, we don't have any navigation, we are just being told and programmed into whatever become of us. And so once we understand what creates, this is a game changer. So in every second of every day, of every moment, we create, whether we know it or not. So it can be unconscious creation, or it can be a conscious creation. And so what I mean with that is that first we have to know, what is it in our human experience, or what is it that creates? And what creates our human experience is our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our words, our choices, and the coherence between all of them. So everything is like wavelengths, is frequency that is being sent out into the universe. And eventually, all of these different frequencies that we send out during every moment of the day, it accumulates, so that eventually it creates something materialized as an experience in the reality. So it's not just wavelengths anymore, it becomes something tangible that we experience. And so once we accept that, that is like the first thing that we have to understand, that really understanding what is it that creates, and that is what creates. So if this is unconscious, then we just keep sending out things that will give us back exactly what we sent out. So having been through experiences in my life that was over time excruciatingly painful, and a lot of struggle to create a flow, to create anything that I liked at all, I feel that I can share a lot about this because I've been there. And the thing is, the irony of everything, or the paradox in many ways, is like when you are in the worst states of your life, when everything you meet, I can remember, having no money, having to take care of both my kids. I rarely share anything about my personal journey, because it's only relevant to the extent that I can share how I understood the dynamics of the game, and the importance of the different role players in our game, because we can't play alone. So obviously there has to be other people involved when we create. And so, I mean, this is also an important thing, because very often we blame other people. And to be honest, blame and well, blame doesn't have anything to do with anything. It doesn't help us in any way, because in the end we have to understand that we are the creators. So everything that is in our lives is our creation, whether we wanted it or not. And so I'm about to release my website very soon. And on this website, what I prioritized on my online programs was this one thing: claiming my creator state. And so what does that mean? It means that if I cannot accept and take responsibility for the fact that I am the creator of everything in my life, then it's very difficult to get past or to get any further, because this responsibility, it puts us out of separation from source, and it also puts us out of victimhood, where we think that everything is just happening to us and we're just a leaf in the wind that blows here and there, depending on what other people do or what circumstances are around us. And so I'm not going to talk about that now, but just to explain very, very quickly, if we can get past, the resistance towards being the creator in our lives, towards this resistance to accept that we are the creators in our lives, then everything is possible. And so one of these online programs, they are dedicated to, there are light language transmissions that help you, or help us, me too, I've also done them, really claiming that responsibility, the gift, and the power that it is to be a creator, and understanding all the depths of it. And so, but I wanted to so let's say we have accepted that we are the creator. So that means everything that happens every day, every moment of our lives, whether we like it or not, we accept it because it's there. It's already there. So it's not something to discuss really, because it's there. It's a fact. We are experiencing it, and therefore it is. And so if we also can get past that, who is to blame? Who is the responsible? This is not even irrelevant. It's not relevant, because in the end, we are the creator of it. So maybe we created situations that are completely just horrible, or that we're just struggling and struggling and struggling, which was my inspiration today, because I can very, very easily remember when I was there, and it's not many years ago. And it took me a long time to get out of the yuckiness of being in a place where you just keep creating struggle in your life. And I mean things like, the human mind would say that this is out of my control, this has nothing to do with me, it just happens to me. I mean, getting a ticket on your car if you are 30 seconds late, or that your cards suddenly stop working for no reason at all, or that, for example, for me, I was renting cars for 4 years on Mallorca, and there would always be some trouble with damages or something that was not my fault, that for some reason was not covered by insurance, or just crazy things, that I couldn't foresee. But in the end, it really builds up. And there was someone asking me once, in a way that was not meant to be, this person asked me, does it always have to be so hard, challenging and so gut-wrenching, the spiritual journey? Is there no is this like the common theme for everyone who goes through something spiritual, that it has to be so hard and so challenging? And back then I didn't know what to say, because I didn't really know. But from now 15 years of experience, I would say that I haven't met many, or if any, that haven't gone through really, really big challenges to get into their mastery. And so I would now, if I had the same answer, question, I would answer that yes, I think so, because the human brain is so wired and so programmed that somehow, you know, my higher levels and my guides, they always say you could learn through joy. Yeah, you could do that. You could take the easy path, but it's for most humans who are very much, you know, left-brained and very programmed from early on, it's through the hardships of life, that, and through many, many, many different experiences with people, with situations, with just seeing the whole thing and not limiting ourselves from any experiences. Those are the ones that step into mastery. Because if you're just closing yourself off and making everything comfortable in your life and reducing all of the triggers, then you might as well live on a deserted island, because you wouldn't have anyone to play with. And then you know, if you came to Earth to manage and to master a lot of soul lessons, that's what we came here for. We came here to master things that are really, really difficult. But in the end, it looks so complex once you're in it. And I mean, I can just close my eyes and feel how incredibly frustrated and in total despair that I was when I was, you know, struggling with every aspect of my life. Everything was collapsing and dissolving. Everything that was not for my highest good would just fall apart. But also, because of that, my body was in a constant overwhelm. My nervous system was in a complete frenzy. My adrenals were completely out of balance, you know. A lot of narcissistic situations that I was in, that was, you know, creating a big imbalance in my physical body that I had to work a long time with. And so I'm sharing these personal things now because I see that this is like coming like a tsunami all over the place. So, and I am here to assist in any way I can and to share. And I know that all of you have to go through your own experiences, but there are also so many similarities. And I went through this on my very solitary journey. I didn't have any mentors. I only had my higher levels and my guides. And I mean, that was a lot, but sometimes I could also have used, you know, some humans to have a hug or being held or something like that. But also that made me very strong, and not strong in a like the old masculine way, but strong from within, because there was nowhere else to turn. So I always had to turn back to source, which led me directly, the direct route, you know, to source. And so learning every time I was going through something horrible that I didn't know how to solve, and also I was responsible for other people, so it was just not myself. And so I would have to come back to this alignment, to my ascension column, to my direct route up to source, and just reminding myself, regardless of whether it felt like it was the outside world who was out to get me, I would have to just align. And I'm asking you to do this with me now. Whatever you are in, whatever you're facing in your life, just come into your own alignment. Bring everything back home, because it's all yours. It's all ours. And just breathe into that. And there might be some feelings now of resistance, like, but this is not mine. It's not my creation. It's not, how could I have created that? anything you observe and experience in your own life. How could I have done that? Because it's just not something I would have chosen. But the thing is, if we are not conscious about the thoughts, the emotions, or the feelings, our words, our responses, this is where I'm getting at. All of this is our responses to life. It's responses to our own creations. And so what this does, when you come back to this alignment, to this connection with source, you realize, okay, I have already, if you have, but I really strongly advise you to do so, accept the responsibility that you are your own creator. You are the creator of your own life experience. And this is thrown all over the place by spiritual people, like these words, but really understanding what they mean, it's like a requirement to get any further. And so once we have, if you still stay in that space where you feel, okay, so regardless of whether I like it or whether I consent, which usually we don't do, I mean, so many times I would just yell to the universe that I don't want this. I don't consent to this. But in the end, there's a very, very big difference between liking, consenting, agreeing with, and accepting. Because accepting only means one thing. It means that you accept what is. And anything else is insanity, because it already is. And so once we are in this state, I'm in the park, so people are doing stuff here, but okay, I'm gonna continue. We're still in this space now where we have accepted ourselves as creators. And then, okay, they speak so loud. Give me 1 second. So you have accepted your creator responsibility, that everything in your life, everything in your experience is your own creation. And so once you are there, you can start redirecting, because then you can start observing your emotions, your responses. This is the word, your responses to everything that you have created. And so once you've come past the resistance to accept, and you're there, you actually accept that everything you have in your life is your experience, now is your creation, then you can start looking into each emotion, each feeling, each trigger in your life, whatever is happening, whether it's people that are completely abusing you, it's your creation. So this will trigger so many, including myself back in the days. How can that be? I don't deserve it. It's not fair. You know, all these emotions, they come up, but this is not relevant. The relevance is, what is the game of life requiring of you? Why are you here? So if you're playing a football game, you can spend so much time disagreeing with offside rules or any other rules in that game, but then it's better to, you know, accept the rules and play the game. So when I say play the game by the rules, it is a truth, but not. So I'm not saying play by the rules of the society or anything like that, but understanding the rules of mastery. That is the game I'm talking about. And understanding what those rules are. It's not about fairness. It's not about blame. It's not about what is wrong or right. It's only about one thing, and that's about mastering your responses to all of your creations. I'm gonna say it one more time. Take a deep breath. The mastery of life, the mastery of the game of life, is about mastering your responses to your creations. And so I will give you another little tool, because when you accept that and you start to step into that, there will be lots and lots of grief and lots of confusion and frustration. And the easy way, or the shortest route to come into peace with that, is the Ho'oponopono prayer. And so we can do that together now. And it goes like this. So you can have an emotion, you have a feeling, you have a trigger, and you have accepted responsibility for this creation. And then you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And so this is something you say to yourself. There might also be that you need to ask forgiveness from someone else. And please do that, because it sets you free and it sets the other one free. But the most important thing is to forgive yourself, because it's your creation. And so stepping into all of those very uncomfortable and challenging, and sometimes this is like deep trauma from childhood or at any point in your life stream. So this is coming into peace with what is, with what you have created unconsciously, not knowing. I mean, this is a big topic, so I'm not now talking about all the unfairness in this world, and because this would have to be explained in detail to understand how can that be, how can that be anyone's creation. But right now I just wish to address your individual journey and how you can help yourself stepping into mastery of your own journey. And so let's do it again. Let's activate this emotion, whatever you're in right now, whatever creation you have in your life that is not something that you really want, but it's there. And then just taking a deep breath and accepting it is there, and therefore it's my creation. And this is activating our divine masculine power, accepting this gift and this responsibility. And just say thank you. And now we ask forgiveness. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And then we let it go. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And then we redirect our life stream. We redirect our creations. We observe, we feel, we embrace, we love, and we let go. And so doing this consistently with great focus and dedication, it will put you into a state of mastery of your own life stream. Because, and this is the whole paradox, even if something in your life seems unfair and it seems that you don't deserve it or it's not your fault, still it is within your power to change it. And you don't change it by trying to change the outside reality. You change it by changing your vibration, what sent it out, what created it in the first place. And so your responses to everything that you have created is what will change your whole life stream. And just to make it clear, so let's say you're in a very deep emotional state of despair, of anger, of jealousy, of hate, of resentment. This is a big one. Of complete giving up, a feeling of giving up. All of these, this vibration that you have in your body then, these wavelengths that you are radiating out is creating more of the same. And so this is the mastery, because it's incredibly difficult, or I'm sorry to, it's not to discourage you, but it takes great courage, and it takes great devotion and focus and concentration and a lot of silent time to be able to pull yourself back to what we started talking about, that you are the creator, accepting the acceptance that, okay, I created this, and all other people are irrelevant. They are just there to play your game, because you are the main character and you are the director. And so you sit with everything. You sit at the control panel. But the important thing is to understand how creation happens. And once you understand that, you can step into your power, accepting your power, and then you can start redirecting. So, again, mastery is managing your responses, your vibration, your responses to everything that you have created in your life. And that means all your experiences. And so, once you start embodying this, because it's challenging to say the least, and this is also why I created this online course called Claiming My Creator State, and also an additional course which goes parallel with that, about clearing emotional blockages, because it might be that you're already stopping at the first one. You can't even bring yourself to accept that it's your creation because it's too hard. And then there are tools. And what I give is, what I offer is meditations and light language. Light language goes directly in and restructures the programming and helps you release those blockages that keeps you from stepping into that power, into that divine masculine. And so also, this whole process is an integration and activation of the divine masculine, divine feminine, emerging of that, putting you into your power and not being afraid of accepting it, because then it brings a responsibility to you. So that's where most people, they don't go there because they are not able to, or think that they are not mature, like they are not up for the task of this level of maturity. So I'm just inviting you to step into this, because in the end, or after some really dedicated work to really be, that's why we can't have all these distractions all the time, because then you will not feel and be able to turn your boat around. When you have time for yourself, when you have silence, when you are like, okay, what's going on? You have to remind yourself, oh, okay, so I go back here. And what was the next step? It's like, it's a school. It's challenging, and it requires your attention and presence. And so I'm sharing this because it's the most pivotal, crucial step. It's what everything is about. Nothing else really matters. You know, you can read tons of books and see tons of movies, but it's basically your own live stream. Every day, every moment in your life, you are in school. You're in a mastery school to be able to master your human experience, so that you can, well, if this is what you want, experience more joy and more peace and more love, more balance and abundance. And I can say that I'm not there yet, but my life is totally transformed. Not necessarily the outside world, but my inside world. There is so much peace. And there is nothing in this world. Well, I think that whatever would happen in my external experience, I would at least always feel that I'm not completely alone. I'm not in despair. It's not that I don't have anywhere to go to, because it's always the same route. It's in here, and it's managing my responses. And something very important in this aspect, I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing or emotional bypassing. And what I mean with that is that I'm not saying that discard your emotions and to kind of just jump over the emotional response to redirect. I'm saying sit with it. Whatever trigger you have, if you have complete anxiety or like a nervous overwhelm, a nervous system overwhelm, absolutely sit with that for as long as it takes, so that you respect all of your aspects. Your human aspects are going through so much, and so it's so important to respect and honor every aspect of your being. And then going beyond that, don't let yourself indulge in the feelings. Don't let yourself go in this is what I did for so many years, just going completely into like emotional roller coaster. Because, oh goodness, it's so warm, it's so hot. If you let yourself just be completely, if you abandon yourself, the emotions will take over, and then you just, you can go on a complete roller coaster ride for whatever long time. And sometimes we have to do that because we need to get to the bottom of things, and very often it's only the surface symptoms and the surface emotions that shows themselves. But then you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. In the end, you will find yourself at rock bottom. It doesn't necessarily have to go that far, but it's called the dark night of the soul for something, and that's what it feels like sometimes. But stepping then, when you feel that enough is enough, and your human aspect has had the opportunity to share and to talk and to allow everything out that it needs to share, then the higher levels, allow the higher levels to step in and guide you from there. And that's where the mastery comes in. Okay, so spoken for 33 minutes now. I'm just sending you all so much love, and knowing that everything is in your power, regardless of what situation you're in. It's possible to turn it around. You can have nothing. You can have everything in the external and feel that you have nothing inside, and that everything is just empty. And it's still possible to turn everything around. I did it. So many other people did it. And it's a solitary journey, because it's something that a guide or a coach or whomever can tell you, but in the end it's you that have to do it. And so in the end, what anyone who assists you can do is just to empower you and support you, have a lot of compassion and generosity, and share tools so that it can be easier and it can be more joy-filled and more fascinating and fun, because that's how I was able to turn it around, just really seeing it for what it is. It's this dimension, the third dimension, is just a human experiment. It's an experience. We chose it. We came here without any map, without any navigation, and once we get that, it's easier to manage and to master the play or the game or the movie or the life. It's all the same. And once we do that, we can create a new earth, a new humanity. and we are well on our way. And I'm super excited to see that so many people are really stepping up their game, and stepping up, stepping in, maturing, taking responsibility, and changing their life stream for a collective, better world and experience. Okay, sending you much love.